Hello guys, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more amazing stories.
A few years ago, I decided to embark on a solo camping trip in the remote forests of northern Michigan. The tranquility of nature always intrigued me, but little did I know what awaited me in those dense woods. As I set up my campsite, a strange sensation washed over me. It felt as if unseen eyes were watching my every move. Despite the eerie feeling, I shrugged it off as mere paranoia and resolved to stay the night. The darkness of the forest amplified the silence, making it feel almost oppressive. Suddenly, I heard faint whispers carried by the wind. They were low, guttural sounds that sent shivers down my spine. Although I strained to make out the words, they remained indistinct, like a distant murmur. Fear crept into my heart, but my curiosity urged me to investigate. I cautiously followed the haunting whispers, always keeping a safe distance. The air grew colder, and a sense of foreboding filled the atmosphere. Eventually, I stumbled upon an old, dilapidated cabin nestled among the trees. As I approached the cabin, a grotesque figure emerged from the shadows. Its elongated limbs and twisted antlers identified it as a creature resembling a wendigo, a terrifying entity from Native American folklore. Its eyes burned with an insatiable hunger as it prowled around the cabin. My heart raced as I observed the creature from afar, its otherworldly presence etched into my memory. I knew it was wise not to confront such a formidable entity directly, so I retreated back to my campsite, grateful for my safety. To this day, I can't forget the bone-chilling whispers or the eerie sight of the wendigo lurking in the darkness. While I may not have encountered it face to face, the experience left me with a deep appreciation for the mysterious and chilling tales that surround us. In a quiet suburban neighborhood on Maple Street, rumors began to circulate about a house that some claimed was haunted. Intrigued by tales of the supernatural, I armed myself with my trusty EVP recorder and camera and set out to investigate. The house had a long history of tragic events, including an unsolved murder and several unexplained deaths. As I stepped inside, a palpable sense of sorrow engulfed me, as if the very walls were mourning their past. During my investigation, I encountered strange occurrences. Doors would creak and slam shut on their own, objects would shift inexplicably, and whispers seemed to linger in the empty rooms. The paranormal activity was undeniable. During one session, my recorder captured a voice that resembled that of a child, saying, "Help me, they won't let me leave." It sent a chill down my spine as I followed the sound to the basement. There, I discovered a hidden room, filled with abandoned children's toys and faded drawings. It seemed as though the spirit of a young girl was reaching out to me from beyond. She revealed that a malevolent presence plagued the house, keeping her and other spirits trapped within its walls. Her plea for release echoed with desperation and fear. Determined to bring peace, I performed a cleansing ritual, hoping to banish the negative energy from the house. As the ritual concluded, a serene calm settled upon the once haunted abode. The trapped spirits, although unseen, appeared to find solace and liberation. The haunting on Maple Street served as a stark reminder that sometimes the true horror lies in the lingering pain of past tragedies and the ethereal energies that continue to resonate within the world. In the heart of the Navajo Nation, I embarked on a journey to delve into the legends of skinwalkers. As an avid explorer, I was fascinated by the rich folklore surrounding these mysterious beings. Deep within the wilderness, I found myself on the outskirts of a small Navajo community. Locals spoke of the skinwalkers in hushed tones, warning outsiders of their malevolent nature. Intrigued, I listened attentively, eager to learn more. One moonlit night, as I was camping near the community, a peculiar sound caught my attention. It was a low, haunting howl that echoed through the canyons. Goosebumps formed on my skin as I scanned the surroundings, trying to locate the source of the eerie noise. In the distance, I caught a glimpse of a fleeting figure, moving with an unnerving swiftness. It seemed to possess an otherworldly agility. My heart raced, but I chose not to venture closer, aware of the risks involved. While I cannot claim to have encountered a skinwalker firsthand, the enigmatic encounter and the tales shared by the locals left an indelible impression on me. The legends surrounding these elusive beings serve as a reminder of the enduring power of folklore and the mysteries that lie within our world. A few years ago, I embarked on a breathtaking trip to the majestic mountains of Colorado. It was a journey filled with awe-inspiring landscapes and a deep appreciation for nature's wonders. Little did I know that the tranquility of my return journey would be shattered by an eerie encounter. As dusk settled over the mountains, I found myself driving along a desolate stretch of road. The darkness wrapped around me like a cloak, and the silence outside was palpable. My tired eyes strained to navigate the winding path. Suddenly, a strange movement caught my attention in the peripheral vision. A tall figure emerged from the shadows at the edge of the road. My heart skipped a beat as my mind raced to comprehend what I was witnessing. It was a towering, man-like silhouette, its features obscured by the darkness. Fear gripped me, and a chill ran down my spine. I couldn't help but wonder if I had stumbled upon the legendary creature known as Bigfoot. The folklore and stories flooded my mind, fueling my imagination and intensifying my anxiety. The figure, barely illuminated by the dim glow of my headlights, appeared to watch me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Its presence felt otherworldly, yet I lacked the courage to investigate further. With trembling hands, I gripped the steering wheel and accelerated, eager to put distance between myself and the enigmatic figure. I stole glances in the rearview mirror, but the mysterious being remained fixed in its position, a sentinel of the night. To this day, I ponder the possibility of encountering a true creature of legend that fateful night. Was it truly Bigfoot, or was it a trick of the darkness, playing tricks on my mind? The uncertainty lingers, leaving me with a mix of wonder and apprehension whenever I recall that spine-chilling encounter on the Colorado roads. During my teenage years, Thanksgiving brought about a unique blend of excitement and anticipation. It was a time when family would gather at my parents' house, nestled on the outskirts of a dense forest in New Jersey. Little did I know that one Thanksgiving would be forever etched in my memory due to a terrifying encounter with a legendary creature. After a hearty feast, my father suggested that we venture into the forest behind our house to hunt for a wild turkey, adding an adventurous twist to our traditional holiday celebration. The crisp autumn air filled our lungs as we armed ourselves with rifles and flashlights, ready to embark on our woodland expedition. As we delved deeper into the forest, the daylight gradually waned, casting elongated shadows upon the trees. The rustling leaves and distant hoots of owls created an eerie atmosphere. With each step, the excitement mingled with a subtle sense of foreboding. Suddenly, our attention was drawn to a monstrous figure lurking amidst the trees. Its grotesque form resembled the infamous Jersey Devil, a legendary creature shrouded in local folklore. Fear took hold of us as we watched in awe and terror. The creature stood tall, with leathery wings and glowing eyes that pierced through the darkness. Its chilling screech pierced the silence, sending shivers down our spines. Paralyzed with fear, we hesitated for a moment before our instincts kicked in, urging us to flee. We raced back to the safety of our house, our hearts pounding in our chests. Breathless, we recounted the spine-chilling encounter to our skeptical parents, who dismissed our tale as an overactive imagination fueled by the legends surrounding the Jersey Devil. However, deep within our hearts, my siblings and I remained convinced of what we witnessed that Thanksgiving night. The memory of that monstrous figure and its piercing cry serves as a constant reminder of the mysteries that lie within the dark woods of New Jersey. There's a lot of weird shit that happens in my apartment, so I made this Reddit account to kinda talk about things that happen. Almost like a public diary to keep me sane. This happened a couple of weeks ago. My fiancé and baby were asleep on the couch and I decided to go to sleep in my room. I was already a little anxious and worried because my mom had just finishing up talking to me about the panic attack she had. Trying to brush off my anxiety about my mom, I close my eyes and try to sleep. Almost as soon as I close my eyes, I see what looks like 5 or 6 entities/shadow people looking at me. You know, you see weird things when you close your eyes sometimes, so I try to brush it off. I open my eyes again and look over at my door and I saw this monster. It wasn't an animal, but it sure as hell wasn't human. It had these long skinny legs, wide body almost hunched over, arms were so low it almost touched the floor. I was oddly calm, but shortly after I immediately got disassociated. The best way to describe what I felt was I was a little girl scared in her room. It felt like I was reliving a fragment of a memory that wasn't my own. Terrified, I got up and called my friend. He's trying to get me to stop hyperventilating. As soon as I got to my balcony, my son woke up screaming. Needless to say, I didn't go back to sleep until the sun came up. I haven't went to sleep with my hall light off since this. My fiancé will try to turn it off before bed, and every time he tries I tell him to turn it back on. I seen it once after this. I truly believe this thing still fucks with me. I am not a person normally given to flights of fancy and consider myself a rather rational individual, but I have no logical explanation for the event I am about to describe, though. If there is one, I would definitely like to know what it is. So, a few years ago, I went out to check the mail one night. We have one of those cluster-type neighborhood mailboxes which is probably 100 feet from my house, across the street. As I was crossing the street, a small, bright, glowing object streaked over my head and hit the pavement roughly 10 feet in front of me, throwing off sparks as it hit the ground and then just completely dissipated. The closest thing I can compare it to is when you're driving down the highway at night and someone in front of you flicks a cigarette out of their car window. There was no sound that I remember and nothing in the street where the object hit, really no sign at all of what I had witnessed. My wife happened to be looking out of the window and saw me jump. She assumed that I had seen a snake, as I was visibly shaken when I came back in the house. She couldn't see the object hit from where she was. To this day, I have no idea what I saw. There was no one else around, no cars, and I wasn't close enough to a house for it to be something thrown. It wasn't a firework, as there was no report, and it wasn't firework season. My only real theory is that it was some type of micrometeorite or something, as it seemed to have come from directly overhead. Anyway, it really creeped me out as I have no real explanation, and I often wonder what would have happened if I left the house just a few seconds later and whatever it was had actually hit me. So, let me tell you about this crazy thing that happened in our family. Our cat, let's call him Whiskers, was getting up there in years and not doing so well. And wouldn't you know it, just as my sister was about to leave the country for 6 months, she picked up Whiskers and told him to wait for her to come back. It was like they had this special bond since she got him as a kitten, you know? But here's where it gets really weird. About a month after she left, Whiskers passed away. It hit us hard, 'cause he was part of the family, you know? But what came next, man, it was mind-blowing. For the next 5 months, Whiskers haunted that house. I kid you not. You'd be chilling in the living room, and all of a sudden, you'd hear these little paws running up and down the stairs like Whiskers used to do. And doors? They would just swing open by themselves, like he was still here, just trying to get our attention. It was freaky, but also kinda comforting in a way. Every night, we'd hear this faint jingle of his collar, like he was playing with his favorite toy. It was like he was still having a good time, even though he wasn't physically there anymore. We could almost feel him, you know? His presence, his purring, it was like he was saying, "Hey guys, I'm still here with you." But here's the kicker. The moment my sister came back home, all those ghostly cat activities stopped. It was like Whiskers knew she was finally back and he could let go. You could see the sheer joy in my sister's eyes when she walked through that door, and the house just came alive one last time, like a big old reunion party for Whiskers. After that, things went back to normal. No more phantom footsteps or mysterious collar jingles. Whiskers had done his thing, keeping us company until his favorite human returned. It's a crazy story, man, but it just goes to show you the incredible bond between us humans and our furry friends. Whiskers will always have a special place in our hearts, even in the afterlife. Hey, guys! So, gather round 'cause I've got a spooky story to share with you. My grandpa, the coolest dude ever, once told me this chilling tale about an experience he had that still gives me goosebumps. Picture this: Grandpa is just chilling outside, sitting in his favorite chair, soaking up the afternoon sun. Suddenly, he hears his wife, who had passed away a few years earlier, calling out to him from inside the house. Now, you can imagine his confusion and disbelief, right? I mean, how could that be possible? But here's where things take a seriously creepy turn. The voice calling him was so urgent, so intense, that he couldn't just ignore it. It was like his instincts kicked in, and he felt this undeniable pull to check it out. So, reluctantly, he gets up from his chair and heads inside. The moment he steps through the threshold, a loud crash echoes from behind him. Can you guess what happened? Brace yourselves, folks. That very chair Grandpa was sitting in just moments before gets completely crushed by a massive cast iron gutter that came crashing down on it. I'm talking about some Final Destination level stuff right here. It hit Grandpa like a ton of bricks, figuratively, of course. If he hadn't listened to that ghostly call and gone inside, he would have been seriously injured or worse. It gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it, you know? Now, we can debate all day long about whether it was paranormal or just some freak coincidence. But the fact remains that this spine-chilling encounter happened to my grandpa, and it stayed with him ever since. I swear, every time I think about it, a shiver runs down my spine. Whether it was a guardian angel or some supernatural force looking out for my grandpa, I don't know. But one thing's for sure, that incident made him believe in something beyond our understanding. And it's a reminder that there might just be more to this world than meets the eye. So, there you have it, my friends. The bone-chilling tale of how a ghostly voice saved my grandpa's life. Keep your eyes peeled for the unexplained, 'cause you never know when things might take a turn for the eerie. It's around 3:30 in the morning, the witching hour, when suddenly, my boyfriend and I are jolted awake by a loud knock on our bedroom door. Instantly, we're on high alert. What the heck is going on, right? But wait, it gets even freakier. We hear another door slam shut from the opposite side of the house. And here's the kicker, guys, our roommate was nowhere to be found. Cue the adrenaline rush. In a flash, I grab my trusty handgun, and my boyfriend grabs his AR, like something straight out of an action movie. We were ready to go full-on, shoot first, ask questions later, mode. Ain't nobody messing with us, right? With nerves of steel, we carefully sweep through the entire house, room by room, making sure we've got all our bases covered. Front door? Locked. Back door? Locked. We were locked and loaded, ready to defend our turf. Now, here comes the plot twist. Turns out, the kid who lives a few houses down, the one who's mentally disabled, had somehow decided to go on a little late-night adventure and ended up wandering into our neck of the woods. Talk about unexpected guests, am I right? Needless to say, we learned our lesson that night. We lock our doors like Fort Knox now. Ain't nobody getting in without an invitation, I can guarantee you that. Safety first, folks. It's crazy to think about the what-ifs, you know? What if we hadn't been so vigilant? What if we hadn't been armed and ready? But hey, life throws curveballs at you sometimes, and you've got to be prepared to handle them. So, there you have it, my friends. The heart-pounding tale of the late-night intrusion that turned out to be a confused neighbor on a mission. Lock your doors, stay vigilant, and never underestimate the unexpected adventures life can throw your way. I'm just a wide-eyed 13-year-old, embarking on a cross-country road trip with my brother. We're cruising along, and exhaustion finally catches up with me. Next thing I know, I wake up in the passenger seat, groggy as heck, and it's the middle of the night, like 2 or 3 a.m. But here's where things take a dark twist. My brother is nowhere to be found. He's gone. Vanished into thin air. Panic sets in, my heart pounding in my chest. I wait for what feels like an eternity, hoping he'll stroll back from wherever he went. I mean, maybe he had to take a late-night pit stop, right? But as time ticks by, my imagination starts playing wicked games with my mind. I start conjuring up horrifying scenarios in my head. Wolves. Yes, you heard that right. My mind jumps to the conclusion that my dear brother, while I was in dreamland, has become a midnight feast for a pack of bloodthirsty wolves. Talk about a nightmare come to life. I sit there in the darkness, my imagination running wild. Each passing minute feels like an eternity, my fear growing with every second. But hold up, folks. Here's where reality and my wild thoughts collide in a truly chilling way. After what seems like forever, it hits me like a ton of bricks. Instead of giving in to my paralyzing fear, I finally summon the courage to look out of my brother's window. And there he is, right there on the ground, sound asleep. Phew. Talk about a relief, am I right? Turns out, my vivid imagination had conjured up this terrifying tale, convincing me that my brother had met a gruesome fate. But in reality, he was just catching some shut-eye outside the car. Can you imagine the goosebumps that raced across my skin when I made that realization? My husband leads me out into the wilderness, far away from civilization. We're talking pitch-black darkness, the kind that makes your skin crawl. And let me tell you, his strides were so long, I was practically sprinting to keep up. It felt like a race against the devil himself. Eventually, we stumble upon what my husband calls a ground blind. Picture this, a shabby metal folding chair and some half-hearted brush. I can't help but let out a nervous chuckle. Is this seriously what I'll be relying on for safety out here? It felt more like a joke than a serious hunting setup. With an ominous tone, my husband utters these words that sent shivers down my spine. Okay, have fun out here, but whatever you do, don't turn on your light unless your life depends on it. And just like that, he walks away, leaving me alone in the eerie silence of the wilderness. Now, let me tell you, those 2 hours felt like an eternity. Every rustle of the leaves, every whisper of the wind, sent my heart racing. My imagination ran wild, conjuring up images of creatures lurking just beyond the shadows. The darkness seemed to stretch on forever, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. To make matters worse, my husband's words echoed in my mind. He claimed that the woods looked like the opening of a Vegas show. Can you believe that? A twisted spectacle unfolding right before my eyes, hidden in the heart of nature. It sent shivers down my spine, imagining what kind of eerie performance was taking place out there. As I opened this post, I couldn't help but wonder why it didn't include the term outdoors women as well. Little did I know that I was about to find out firsthand. The wilderness can be a terrifying place, my friends, especially when you're left alone in the dark with nothing but a flimsy chair and your racing thoughts.
Hello guys, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more amazing stories.